Good morning, students. Welcome back to our online classes. Today, we are going to discuss our previous class in geography part, that is Earth internal composition and landform. In our previous class, we have already discussed about internal process of the Earth. Now, today, we are going to discuss the formation of landforms. How the surface of the earth is changing continuously. The uppermost layer of the earth, that is the lithosphere, has number of plates known as lithospheric plates. The landmarks on which both the continents as well as the ocean bed resides is called the lithospheric plates. These plates are broken into small sections as you can see in the figure. These plates move around very slowly in the few millimeters each year. Now what next move it is because of the molten magma inside the earth. Molten magma is in moves circular manner. This causes the movement of the plate, has hence the plates causes the changes on the surface of the earth. Earth movement is divided into two types of forces, exogenic forces and endogenic forces. When the name is figure out, exogenic means outside and endogenic means inside. The kind of exogenic forces are rivers, wind, sea, and glaciers. Endogenic forces are natural climatics like earthquake, volcano, landslide, etc. This is very important point. Endogenic forces cause mass destruction and exogenics are naturally occurring and it doesn't causes much of destruction compared to endogenic. What is the volcano? Volcano is nothing but a ventilator on the earth's crust through which molten material error. When the lithospheric plates move, the surface of the earth vibrates. The vibration can travel all around the earth. This vibration is called earthquake. The place in the crusade with the movement starts is called the focus, and the place on the surface about the focus is called epicenter. Vibration travel outwards from the epicenter as basis. Greatest damage is usually closest to the epicenter, and the strength of the earthquake decrease away from the center, and earthquake is measured with the machine is called semigraphy. The magnitude of the earthquake is measured on the richest scale, and magnitude stronger and higher than 7.0 is classified as the major earthquake. Here we learn about the formation of the earth. Although earthquake cannot be predicted, the impact can be minimized if we are prepared beforehand. Local people use some common method to predicate possibility of earthquake, like study of behavior of animal, rapid movement of the fish in pond, coming out of reptiles on the surface of the earth, etc. मतलब स्थानीय लोगों का मानना है जब भूकंप आता है उससे पहले तरह तरह की जो नेचुरल जो सिंबल होते हैं वो देखने को मिलता है, जैसे एनिमल्स के बिहेवियर में जो फिश पॉन्ड के अंदर होते हैं वो उछलने लगते हैं, ज़मीन के अंदर जो इंसेक्ट वगैरह रहते हैं वो भी अर्थ के सरफेस पे आने लगते हैं। ये सारे सिंबल्स के सिम्टम देख के अंदाज़ा लगाते हैं लोग कि अभी अर्थक्वेक आने वाला है। Now here we get the information about the major landforms. The landscape is begun continuously one way by two process, weathering and erosion. So the definition of weathering is breaking up of the rocks on the earth's surface. So by the word weathering you can figure out that it has something to do with the change of weather. A piece of rock that is does not stay the same after few years, it continuously changes. The weather act upon it as an agent which break it down. Then comes erosion. Erosion is the wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind, and ice. So water takes a lot of the soil and it deposits from one place to another. Wind again take away, blows away all the sand from one place to another. Ice again take away the entire soil. With that, once it start melting it and turns into water and take away the entire soil of that place. To eroded material is carried away or transported by water, wind, etc., eventually deposit on. Now we understand the meaning of erosion and deposition. Now we have talked about the exogenic forces. When we started the class, now all these will be discussing now a part of exogenic forces or external force that affect the formation of landforms. Now the first external force is river action. Underwater we'll be talking about two actions. One is river action and one is sea wave action. So river action is what happens water. As we know, the river behaves like a human beings. It's in three stages. First one is youth stage, maturity stage, and old stage. So when it is in youth, it is very active, and as it moves towards its old age and become very slow and might do when the age of. Now, youthful stage, you would see feature like waterfalls. What would happen if there is alternate arrangement of hard rock, soft rock, and you would have differential erosion? That means soft rock would be eroded more as compared to hard rock. So there would be description that would be seen in soft rock, and they then you would have formation of waterfall worldwide. The highest waterfall in Angel Fall in Venezuela. Now there are some waterfalls demarcating like between two nations. For example, Niagara Falls is a description between Canada and United States. You have Victoria Falls, which is demarcation between Zimbabwe and Africa. Then you have during the youthful stage, since there is a lot of movement of water, you would have a kind of waves movement. At this wave movement is now known as meander. When it reaches the final stage and therefore towards the formation, the final stage you are formation of what is known as delta stage that takes place. Now India is unique to itself because in India you can see the major rivers that run towards east have formation of delta. So you have Krishna, Godavari, Mahanadi, Kaveri, which have delta formation. However, the river which drain towards this, that is into the Arabian Sea, the drain directly in the form of Asers, and they do not delta. As we will go into the deltas later in the highest standard, for now you have the formation delta. Now, youthful stage, you would see feature like waterfalls. What would happen if there is alternate arrangement of hard rock, soft rock, and you would have differential erosion? That means soft rock would be eroded more as compared to hard rock. So there would be description that would be seen in soft rock, and they then you would have formation of waterfall worldwide. The highest waterfall in Angel Fall in Venezuela. Now there are some waterfalls demarcating like between two nations. For example, Niagara Falls is a description between Canada and United States. You have Victoria Falls, which is demarcation between Zimbabwe and Africa. Then you have during the youthful stage, since there is a lot of movement of water, you would have a kind of waves movement. At this wave movement is now known as meander. Next important concept is sea action. When we talk about the river action structure, and there are various formation take place. So whenever we talk about any structure, be it river, be it sea, waves, there would be two kinds of feature that are seen. First is erosional and second is depositional. Erosional means because of the action of sea waves. For example, you have action of sea waves and you have a kind of rocks marks that is seen. Here is erosion activity and there is formation of cap. That means within the rock there is a certain section that is eroded away and it's wide away, and now you have a kind of cap where you can pass by. Its kind of erosional features. Similarly, you have certain deposit all feature. For example, what we talked about in case of delta is depositional feature. When we talk about sea waves, you have primarily the glaciers. So glaciers is also known as river of ice. Their slow moving ice masses that move along. Now when river glacier moving along the they created feature which is known as U-shaped valley. So when you have action of river which is thinner and sleek, you have the mountain areas which are bifurcated, and you have formation of valley which are the shape of wings. So with the river action, you have formation of V-shaped valley. However, due to the shape of the glaciers and the blocking of the glacier, you have formation of valley which are U-shaped. So the first important difference between glacier valley are and river valley. Now the when glacier moves along, it carries a certain deposit. Along with it deposits that glacier to it carries along is known as moraines. Now these moraines could be towards the end of the glaciers, so they are known, and the moraines they could be towards the side which are known as lateral moraines. In the certain which you know known as manders, Madan, manners, and so on and so forth. So their common depositional feature that we talked about. Glacier are rivers of ice formed in snow-clad mountains area. Glacier eroded the landscape by bulldozing rocks and stones to expose the solid rocks below. Glacier form U-shaped valley by erosion. As the ice melted, however, formed a mountain gate filled up with water, and from lake the material carried by the glaciers, such as small and big rocks, sand and silt gate deposit. As a result, hill-like landforms is formed, which is called Dormlin. You have the wind action. When we talk about wind action, it's primarily seen in the desert area where wind is predominated. So you have huge amount of sands that's blowing from one region to another and deposited. Such deposition known as losses. Losses are commonly seen in China. Then you have another structure which are known that sand dunes, and then you have mushroom rock which are a structure again with differential erosion, and you would see. So you have kind of hard rock, soft rock arrangement. So what happens in the soft rock which is at the lower section erodes at a much higher as compared to the hard rock. And there is a kind of mushroom what are seen in the desert region, and this formation of mushroom by rocks is known as what does we call as mushroom rock. So it's kind of very interesting phenomena that is seen in desert area in Rajasthan. Here you have a big structure which seem like mushroom, but they are not really in mushrooms, but they are made up of rocks, kind of rocks structure. So what is mushroom rocks and is again a kind of erosional feature that is due to wind actions. With this, we cover the major part of wind action are kind of exogenic and endogenic forces and how the landform has evolved. Hope all is clear. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.